This game is rated M by the ESRB. For any kids watching under the age of 18, please be advised by your parents before watching. Thank you. Like I said in my last video, Remnant from the Ashes is a third-person shooter adventure game with some Souls-like elements. If you haven't seen that video yet, a link will be in the comments, and at the end of this video. This review will be focused on 5 main categories: gameplay, graphics, audio, story, and fun. We will do a detailed review of each category, giving them a score out of 20. In the end, we will have a total score of 100. So why don't we just jump in? The gameplay of Remnant from the Ashes, as stated previously, is a third-person shooter game. The game has checkpoints and bosses similar to that of a Souls-like. There is loads of loot, including armor sets, jewelry, and weapons. Each armor set contains a perk that gets upgraded for the amount of pieces in that set. While there is melee in this game, firearms are the primary focus. There are 2 types of guns, sidearms and long guns. Each gun has what is called a mod slot. These contain major abilities that can do anything from creating an AoE healing circle to shooting out poison spines at enemies. I guess what I'm trying to get at with all of this is the game is all about variety. There's a major variety of bosses and enemy types, so they give you the ability to have some variety of your own. You might be going against a certain boss, struggling real bad, and then switch up a weapon mod and it becomes a breeze. Dodging and maneuvering through the world feels really good. There's a stamina system in this game that limits the amount of dodging and running you can do. The drain is dependent on how heavy your armor is. While heavy armor might block you from taking major blows, light armor allows you to dodge more, avoiding damage altogether. It is a trade-off, really. This system could be better explained in the game. I felt that I didn't really start paying attention to this until much later. Combat in this game is fun, and different for everyone. You can either attack with a melee weapon or zoom in and shoot from afar. The only problem with this system is the melee. It seems, well, very underwhelming. You start this game with a basic sword, which would make you think that melee is going to play a bigger part. Aside from melee, though, the gunplay is really fun. There's lots of variety from your basic pistol to alien beam rifles. A minor gripe is just the ranged sniper class weapons. Zoom is very awkward and not even really worth having. Other than that, I love the variety of weapons and styles you can play. With only a few gripes, this game deserves an 18 out of 20 score for the gameplay. The variety of weapons and armor alone gives it a high score, not including the many bosses and enemies that turn this into an amazing game. The graphical style of this game is meant to be a lean towards the realistic side, with a little cartoony look to it. I'm not sure if this was to allow more players to play this game easily without lag from lack of a great GPU and playing with others online, or if it was just a style choice. Either way, the game does look great in its own style. Games like this are massive. Some of the zones you go into are large with many enemies. The fact that the game runs so well while also being multiplayer is impressive. If you go into certain areas, just look at the skyboxes and the detail they put into this game. It'll just blow your mind. Because of how massive certain areas are, when you load into a zone, the rendering does take a minute. I thought this was just my rig at first, but after watching some major streamers play this game, it tends to be for most people, if not for a split second. Sometimes the boss cinematics are dramatically reduced in intensity due to the game still rendering textures as you are zoning in. Overall, though, this game has some great graphics. It isn't top-tier realism, but it has a great style that I enjoy. The rendering could be better, but is understandable with the zones being so massive. With all this being said, I give the score a 17 out of 20, which is a pretty good score overall. The audio in this game rocks. My scale might be off compared to other people, but I feel if I am not getting hyped during a boss fight or humming the tune after playing the music, it's nothing to focus on. Luckily, this game's boss fights are amped up to 10 by the music. I will never forget the first time I entered the tree ant boss battle. The music was ramping me up to the point where I was zoned into the game. There was nothing else that could distract me from the scene of this massive tree smashing the ground towards me and launching mortars from atop its back, all while the music was pumping me up. The voice acting is pretty good too. There aren't too many characters that you can talk to all the time, but when you do, you feel their personality seep through. Characters like the sassy McAbe or the old-timer Reggie, even Mudtooth's crazy old tales about his helicopter, as he likes to call it. The characters are very unique and very well done. Last of all, the sounds you hear in the game, they're utmost important. They do a good job. When a major enemy type is around you, you can hear a sound indicating that they're near. These enemies can decimate you if you don't deal with them quickly, so the sound is super important to focus your attention towards. Other than that, the sounds do a good job at indicating you need ammo or are reloading. Pretty basic sounds for shooters, honestly. They keep it minimal so you can mainly focus on the enemies you're dealing with, which I personally enjoy. Overall, the game's audio is not something to scoff at. It hypes you up when you need it, giving you a sense of danger and encouragement all at the same time. It has a great soundtrack and characters that give this an 18 out of 20, a very high score that I don't often give to the audio category. The story for this game is where I feel the game falters. I mean, at first it felt like a basic alien takeover game and you're the only hero that can save the planet. I thought this was cool and pretty basic overall. As I got into the game, I struggled figuring out where the story was taking me. I am all of a sudden in this tower that is sending me to other planets. I'll be honest, I kind of got lost. I feel the reason I kept getting lost is because there's a lot of story hidden behind written logs that are found on the maps. While I don't mind reading a note here or there, I feel putting major story elements behind this is just a misstep. This is a personal reason, but I don't like to read the lore of these things. I would much rather have dialogue. The story is a good one and takes you on a great adventure to how things got started on this post-apocalyptic Earth, but it just didn't really hit home with me real well. That is why I give this a 16 out of 20. Give me some more NPCs that point me in a clear direction of what's happening. Don't hide it behind a bunch of boring text. As you can tell from some of the previous sections, I really like this game. I love fighting bosses and getting loot. I love difficult games that force me to come up with strategies to get to the next level. I love being able to have a custom loadout and can be upgraded and switched around, which this game just succeeds at most of the time. I had a great time playing this game. Besides a small issue with the story not being my favorite, I still love it. I have played through this game twice now and am working on completing the DLCs. I have been drawn in several times by this game and I love it. I would say it is worth playing multiple times over. My overall score for how much fun I had is a 19 out of 20, a superb score for a superb game. After reviewing all the individual categories, seeing this total score makes me happy. I would for sure say this is a 9 out of 10 game in my opinion. If you're looking to get this game, it is normally $40, which for how large of a game that is and how replayable it is, it's worth the price. You can also get this game on Xbox Game Pass, or might have been lucky enough to get it for free last week on the Epic Games Store. Please go check it out. It'll be worth it. Thanks for watching my review of Remnant from the Ashes. Please don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you can get notifications on more videos to come. I also would love to hear your opinions and feedback, so please comment below any that you have. Please remember to stay positive and love one another, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks, guys.